right, ladies and gentlemen, we're back. We're rocking and rolling, as always, here on the Unleashed Radio Hour. Your host, Ron Klinger. The Unleashed Radio Hour is a production of Motivational Transitions. You can always learn more by going to motivationaltransitions.com. Again, that's to motivationaltransitions.com. Now, listen, before I get any further along today in the show, before I introduce our topic and my wonderful assistants that I brought along here with me today, who drove me kind of batty on the way here with all the musical mix-ups that they were jamming to. But we'll get to that later. I'll try not to make them laugh when they know because we're live on air. But look, listen, in all seriousness and all reality, I need to do something here today, and I need to take just a quick pause. Today is Memorial Day, ladies and gentlemen, where we stop, we remember, no, it's not about barbecue grilling and the pools being open. Today is about giving memory to those who gave their lives in our armed forces for our country. So what I want to do real quick is just take a moment to pause and a moment of silence to honor all of those who have given their lives for the freedoms that we enjoy every day. All right, thank you for that momentary pause. Felt it was the honorable and just thing to do today, this Memorial Day here. Broadcasting to you live and direct from Business 1110 KTEK. Thank you for listening in, following along. For those of you out there following along on Facebook, you're like, you're on Facebook? Yep. Gave that already out there, but hop on out to Facebook. Go search Facebook. Just put in Unleashed Radio Hour. Like the page. You'll see the stream. I've got it up here running live and in studio. We're also streaming live at unleashedradiohour.com and, of course, at Business 1110 AM on the dial. Now, listen, we're out here, and many of you are probably out there still barbecuing, sitting by the pool, other people having fun, thinking that that's what this is today is all about. Hello to my good friend, Miss Abby, that's out there. Hey, that's my girl down there in Clear Lake area. Giving much love to Miss Abby. But listen, today I want to talk about a topic that's a bit timely in my humble opinion. And part of this spawns off of and piggybacking off of something that I talked about last week, which is, congratulations, graduates. You did a great job. You've got your degree, whether you're a high school graduate, you're a college graduate. But guess what? What's next? And there's a whole show on that. Go out, unleashedradiohour.com. Find the podcast out on iTunes. Just search Unleashed Radio Hour. But today we're going to get into a bit of another coaching session. Coach Ron is in the hizzo. And what I want to be able to do, and what spawned this is I'm always intrigued, and I always bring information, tools, and resources to the airwaves to help you unleash your career in business. And right now it is timely in the essence of what are our high school and college graduates going to do to successfully launch their careers. Right? I talked a little bit about that, but I'm going to give some very specific tips. But before I give you my tips, I did just doing some show prep, did a little work, and found an article that was out by Fast Company online. So if you go out to unleashedradiohour.com, and in the promo for today's show, I put a hyperlink to that article, but I want to talk about the article that they put out on the 12th of this month of May. And the title of the article is New Graduates. These are the unspoken rules of the workplace no one tells you. Right, so I thought, hey, maybe I need to help share the love. Maybe I need to share some of their tips, absolutely giving 100% credit to Fast Company out there, and really getting a chance to share. It's a 6-minute read, it's a quick read, but there's some things that I think need to be shared as to help young people, high school, college graduates, to successfully launching their careers and understanding the game that you're about to play, the real-world experience that you're about to earn. I think these are very important to be able to share with you. So I'm going to get those started here in just a second. All in all, there are there's 7 tips that they put in this article. I'm going to highlight them real quickly here in this segment. And then when we get further along in the show, I've got my 2 wonderful assistants that are here that I actually have my own 8 tips that we're going to give about how to help you successfully launch your career and get started in a positive path and trajectory. Because I get frustrated when I hear, well, I don't know what I want to do. They were supposed to tell me that in college or high school. Bologna sandwiches, all right? If that's on your grill today, maybe it's fajitas or something else, but I'm calling bologna sandwiches because you've got to own that process. So one of the things I want to get into Take it back to the top. Let's talk about these tips that Fast Company says are the unspoken rules, meaning no one's telling you what's going on, of the workplace that they just don't talk to you about what you need to understand. So the first one, here it is. You ready? I love this. And they come out swinging. And again, this is Fast Company. The article was linked at unleashedradiohour.com in today's promo. So rule number one, according to Fast Company, those unspoken rules in the workplace, number one is you are there to do your job. Ha! Novel concept. Can I get an amen?
Amen.
Can I get another?
Another.
Amen.
Amen.
So, heaven forbid you would actually be hired. I mean, this seems very obvious, but in today's world where it's all about social media and connecting and friends and family, right? You're there to do a job. Their number one rule, straight out of the gate, coming out swinging. Number one, you are there to do your job, right? Graduates' desire to go above and beyond can sometimes result in them being spread too thin, compromising. Look, it's a balance equation, right? You cannot. Okay, I'm going to pause. I got to breathe. You may have been brought up, if you're a recent college graduate or high school graduate, and everyone told you your entire life you can do and be whatever you want. The question is, and we'll get into that later, do you know what you want to do in your career that gives your life substance and meaning? So when we start talking about this whole piece of you're there to do your job, you're not there to socialize 100%. Yes, you want to be able to connect with the people that you're around, but at the same point in time, you have to be able to, look, you got to do the job. And if you're not doing the job, then you may want to ask yourself, oh, well, why am I really here? They're going to pay you, but they're paying you to do something, and that is your job. Rule number two, here's the interesting part. And I love this. Rule number two, it's up to you to figure things out, according to Fast Company. Yeah, you may need to ask for help, and there may be some orientation and some employee onboarding program that walks you through what does it mean to be an employee at ABC Company. Well, that's great, and it goes on to say, in college and in high school, you're given a syllabus, do this, do this, do this, do this. A lot of times what you have to understand and what you have to do, you've got to figure some of those things out for yourself. It's up to you to figure that out. By asking questions, by getting engaged with your manager, your supervisor, the leaders, other employees. Hey, how do things work around here? Anything I should know? How can I be successful? You see, I got my good friend John G. Miller, who's the author of QBQ, Question Behind the Question. Again, we interviewed John a couple years ago. Go out to the website, unleashedradiohour.com, search for QBQ, Question Behind the Question. Follow QBQ Guy on social media. And it's really about that level of personal accountability. And I think that's really what this dials in for me, is it's up to you to figure things out. Not everyone's going to give you do A, then B, then C, every type of opportunity that comes along that path line. And I think what's critical to comprehend and understand is that you have to drive that bus. It's up to you to be the one leading that charge. You have to own your learning. And that is the essence of figuring things out. Nobody's going to sit down and teach you everything. There just isn't that time. So you're going to stumble. You're going to fall. You're going to get help. You need to ask for that support, and I think that's critical. Which leads into their rule number 3. Feedback will not come automatically. No, this isn't, oh, way to go, Johnny, you're doing good job, right? This isn't kindergarten. This isn't elementary school. This isn't everybody, I have to stop. This isn't everybody gets a participation trophy. This is what's called the real world, right? And yes, feedback is necessary. Feedback is necessary in the essence of you are going to have to understand, are you doing things the right way or the most effective way? And if not, how do I get there? Again, you're going to have to engage. How am I doing? How are things going? Ask your manager, hey, can I get some feedback? But don't expect it to be on a day-to-day basis. Don't expect it to come down, well, let's just sit down and we're going to talk about all the things you're doing great, and we're going to talk about all the things you're not doing great, and we want you to improve, and here's the... No, you're going to have to drive some of that bus. That's going to be critical, and that's going to be important for you to understand, right? So owning it. What can you do to improve? What can you do to drive that bus of feedback and learning that needs to occur? The next one, attention to detail is extremely important. According to Fast Company, rule number 4 of the unspoken rules of the workplace, attention to detail is important. The hardest thing was being able to think in a detailed manner, right? We think in abstract areas. If you're coming out of high school and out of college, you're getting big picture. No, I need to know exactly precisely what it is that I need to do. What can I? Notice I keep using that I. statement. It's all about I. What can I do? How can I learn? How can I grow? How can I take ownership of my experience? And I think that's critical. One of the things here is you'll be asked to do work that you don't always know how to do. So what are the details that, hey, help me understand? A great way to do this and that attention to detail is to repeat back to your supervisor that of what you believe or perceive they want you to do. So let me get this straight. You want me to go and do 1, 2, and 3. Is that correct? Yep. Thank you very much. Pay attention to that detail. Number 5, understanding how you fit in the bigger picture goes a long way. Here's where I have to really be nice. And I'm being very diplomatic right now. I'm taking a very long mental pause as I'm filling in what I really want to say with this. When you come on board, it isn't all about you. Period. Now, there's tons of work to be done. There's things that are going to take place. You have to drive where things are going to go. It is extremely important if you ask the questions, hey, where do I fit into this process? Always seek to understand your place, your role, and your responsibilities. How do they fit into your department? If there's a division or a business unit, how does what you do fit into the department, into the business unit? And more importantly, how is what you do into your department, business unit, and into the company? What is it that I'm doing? What's the big picture? And if you don't know that, and if you can't comprehend that, how can you get someone to help you understand that? All right, so that's rule number 5. Rule number 6, according to Fast Company, that you need to understand, new or recent graduates getting ready to enter the workforce. Rule number 6, companies are not obliged to consider your needs and interests. Novel concept. Companies are not, I repeat, are not obliged to consider your needs and interests. Now, I didn't write this, but it resonated with me. And a big part of what we're talking about is it's important that you've got to understand. Hey, it's not about entitlement. It's about what can you contribute. Going from an environment like school where you are the consumer and everyone is catering to you to a place where you are the worker and people expect you to cater to them. So understanding who you serve, what are the tasks that are inherent in your job, absolutely critical. And if you go, well, they did this for me here, and they made this accommodation there, and they did this here, and I want this, and I want that. Good luck with that, because they may get to a point where, like, you know what, this person isn't worth developing because they can only just think about me. Just saying. And then rule number 7, by Fast Company, the unwritten rules in the workplace, no one will care about your career as much as you do. If there's a theme in all of this, it's about what can you as the new employee do? What can you drive as far as your goals, your career, your aspirations? And we're going to get into more tips about what you can do to successfully launch your career when we come back right after these messages.
So what would you do with an extra $500 a month in your budget? $500. This isn't hypothetical, by the way. This is something you may need to think about very soon if you decide to become a member of MediShare. MediShare is a way to pay for your health care, and typically it costs $500 less per month for a family versus other health care plans. So seriously, think about this. You could pay off loans, pay down a mortgage, save the money for retirement, donate to charity. That would be a big deal. But you know what? Here's the best thing. MediShare works. It has 250,000 members, and it's growing fast. With MediShare, not only do you save, you don't have to pay for things you don't believe in either, and that is a beautiful thing too. So here's how you can find out more, and you might actually wind up saving even more than $500 a month. So check into it. Here's the number. Call 844-41-BIBLE. That's 844-41-BIBLE. Now available in Montana. Call 844-41-BIBLE.
Attention managers, business owners, and human resources professionals. Do you struggle with positively engaging and developing your team? Hi, this is Ron Klinger, host of the Unleashed Radio Hour. For over a decade, I have been coaching and helping leaders just like you. From management and leadership training to individual coaching and support, I can help you address the everyday challenges you face in your business or organization. If you're looking for a partner to your success, call the man who can help you with your plan. You can reach me online at motivationaltransitions.com or by phone at 832-746-9760.
This is Business 1110.
Yeah, we are too legit to quit here on the Unleashed Radio Hour. Yeah, your host, Ron Klayer. Thanks for dialing in here on this Memorial Day, or if you're listening to the show as a podcast, Appreciate you being a part of the journey and the experience known as the Unleashed Radio Hour. Again, you can learn more by going out to unleashedradiohour.com. Follow along on Facebook. And if you're out on the Twitterverse, just go out and look for @RonUnleashed. All right, what we're about to do, and I shared some tips. Go out to unleashedradiohour.com, click on today's promo, and you can go over and read more specifics about the article that I referenced from Fast Company on their website about the unspoken rules of the workplace that no one tells you. This is information for recent or soon-to-be emerging work professionals that are going out in the workplace, things you need to think about. Great little article. That was a catalyst for today's topic. So what we're going to get into, and I've got my assistants here. One said I don't need to introduce her, but she wants to introduce herself. What we're going to do here in just a second is I compiled my own list of 8 tips for today about how to successfully launch your career, about how to go out, how to get things done. I've got 8 tips, and we're going to balance it out between my 2 assistants. So I'm going to ask my assistant, number 1, to introduce the first tip.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'm Audrey here, and I'm going to kick off the first tip. Tip number 1, know thyself.
Yeah, she's like, is that like a theater type thing? Is that a Shakespearean? Is that Bill Shakespeare over there, Mom and Dad? No, it's not. And that is my daughter, Audrey, with tip number 1, know thyself. You know, and a big part of it, that sounds like, okay, Ron, whatever. Yeah, no, it is absolutely critical and true. If you don't know thyself, and I talked about this ad exhaustion, I do all the time on this show, you have to know what's important to you in the work that you're going to do. What are you interested in? What are those topics? What are those areas? Does your personality fit the work that you want to go do? What are your strengths? You know, those things come up, and they're very critical because you have to understand yourself. Now, listen, I'm going to rock the boat here just a little bit because I'm going to put something out there that you know what, may be a little bit controversial. Mom and Dad, stop telling your sons and daughters what they need to major in college and what they need to go and do. Instead, help them discover what it is they want to do. And here's why I say that. As a college administrator, I worked with young people who were in academic difficulty. If you want to understand the impact, parents, of dictating what degree to study or what chosen path to go down, I give you this. Most people, if they don't have ownership of their own goals, it means nothing to them. I had young people for years in my office who were not succeeding academically. When I say not succeeding academically, I was the one that was having the life conversations. And every semester, on point, when we would reach out, I would bring students in, we'd sit down, we'd talk, hey, how you doing? Hey, your grades aren't where they need to be. How do we help? And I would get students, more than one, that would say, well, I really don't like my major. I really don't like my course of study. Oh, okay, that's fine. Well, we can change it. No, I can't. Yeah, we can. There's this form. We'll do some career exploration. Find out where the best fit for you is. No, I can't. Mr. I can't change my major. Well, yeah, you can. No, I can't, because if I change my major, and here comes the biggest, saddest indictment on parents today, if I change my major, my parents will not pay for my tuition. Now, if you want to hog tie someone that bad, guess what? Then they're not going to succeed. And I am very adamant about that. It's a goal that they have to own. So the first tip out of anyone successfully launching their career, because, novel concept. They're the ones that are going to get up day in, day out. Feet are going to hit the ground. They're going to get dressed. They've got to go do the earnings and the work. It better be in alignment with their values, the V of the VIPs. It better be in alignment with their interest. What do they really like to do? I'm going to tell you straight up right now, too legit to quit. Do not put me in the corner working with nobody, managing and pushing numbers and paper. Not going to happen. I don't care what salary you pay me, because I'm going to be miserable. Not only is it not important to me, I have no interest in doing so. So values, interest, personality. All right, in case you can't tell, I'm a little shy. Right. Shocker to those that know me. Just a little shy. No, not really. I'm an extreme extrovert. Again, I need to be in a situation where I have an opportunity to be around, to feed off the energy of others. That's my personality. Strengths. What are those things that you're naturally inquisitive about doing, that yearning quality, you want to know more, and something that just engages the best of you? Values, interest, personality, strengths. If there isn't resonance and harmony amongst those 4 things, then that career is going to launch in a path or trajectory that may give you some money, but may not sustain itself over the long term. Values, interest, personality, and strengths. All right, so the first tip that we hit by Miss Audra, know thyself. When we come back, we're going to hear from Miss Taylor on tip number 2.
Here's an important announcement for prescription drug users. If you take Synthroid, Lipitor, Crestor, Nexium, or any other expensive prescription medication, we guarantee you're paying too much. A new program is now making these important drugs available at a fraction of the local pharmacy price. For example, 100 milligrams Synthroid in your local pharmacy is about $1 a pill. The exact same medication is about 30 cents a pill. You can save up to 70% on most of the top 200 drugs prescribed by U.S. physicians. Call right now and see if you qualify to get this special offer of a 3-month supply of most of the top-selling prescription drugs for less than $100, plus shipping and handling. Call right now toll-free and start saving on medication for you and your family. Call now, 800-641-4280, 800-641-4280, 800-641-4280. That's 800-641-4280.
This is Business 1110.
All right, we are back. We're continuing to rock. We're continuing to roll here on the Unleashed Radio Hour. Hey, you want to get involved in this conversation? We'd love to hear from you. Call in 713-785-1817. That telephone number again is 713-785-1817. You can also reach out. I know some people are shy. That's okay. You can reach out via the Motivational Transitions text line at 281-892-1972. That text line again, if you got a question or a comment, you want to get engaged into the show, 281-892-1972. All right, when we went to break, I was talking about our first tip here on the Unleashed Radio Hour about how to successfully launch your career. It was know thyself, talked about the VIPs, the values, interests, personality, and strengths that plays into that decision-making process. And what I want to do now is I want to defer to our assistant numero dos, Miss Taylor, who's going to give us that tip number 2.
Define your career aspirations.
Yeah, so here's one of the things, and give it up, thank you, Miss Taylor, all right, way to go, is define your career aspirations. Yes, we're giving a round of applause here at the studio. Kudos, right? Hey, so look, yeah, here's the reality. If you do not define it, you cannot measure it. If you cannot measure it, you cannot manage it. So the point is first, you must know thyself. Second, what are your career aspirations? Define what that looks like. Adjectives. Write those things down. What is critical in the work that you want to do? The more you can define it, the easier it is to go out and find it. Because if you don't have a list, well, I'll just do whatever you'll pay me to do. Well, then guess what? You're going to wake up one day and you're going to be like the old man in the Dunkin' Donuts commercial that I'm old enough to remember. His feet are going to hit the ground, literally in the commercial, with his slippers. Time to make the donuts, right? And it's like, okay, well, here comes my favorite character in Winnie the Pooh. When it gets to these moments, it's Eeyore. Oh, it's me. Time to go to work today, right? Because there's no purpose, there's no passion, there's no hoo-hoo-hoo Tigger who wants to bounce all over the place. There isn't joy and passion and pep in the step. No, and that's where I love personalities, because those truly come in, and I hope you understand those characters from Winnie the Pooh, Eeyore, and Tigger. Hey, get some clarity on what it is that you're going to do. Define it. Do I want to be indoors? Do I want to be outdoors? Do I want to be, for those of you, do I want to stay close to home? Do I want to go out and explore the vast world that is out there for me? Do I want to travel? Do I not want to? There's so many conversations that need to be had along that career-making decision that so many people don't give any attention to. And I'm a huge, huge, huge advocate of you must have a conversation about career, in my humble opinion, before you start choosing on where to go to college. Because you may choose a career and a path that once you get to college, you didn't make it in an informed way and you don't like it. Nothing is worse than a 4th or a 5th year college student who wants to be an educator going out doing their student teaching, realizing, I don't want to teach. There's nothing worse than that. So you need to engage and get some experience. The more experience you can gain, the better you can define your career aspirations. And I come back to this. If you do not define it, you cannot measure it. If you cannot measure it, you cannot manage it. And what I mean by that is scale of 1 to 10. How on point are you on your career path and trajectory? How well are you on launching into a successful career that you may know nothing about? All right. Tip number 3, numero 3.
Network, network, network.
Yes. Can you say that again?
Network, network, network.
It's all about networking. And no, we're not talking about computers. So here's my point, and this is where know thyself and define your career aspirations come in together. This is where they come together. If you go out and you start talking to people, and if you start networking, then guess what? The very first question that someone is going to ask you, well, what kind of work are you looking for? And if you don't know yourself, and if you haven't defined where you want to go, they can't help you. Plainly put, if you can't define it and tell, well, I kind of want to do this, or I kind of want to, well, then you know what they're going to say? Well, then come back to me when you have a more definitive answer. You know, when someone tells me what they want to do, I guarantee you I've got a Rolodex of people, my LinkedIn community, my professional network, and I can say, you know what? I know someone that does it, and if I don't, I know someone in the ballpark who may know someone that specifically does the work that you're trying to do. Let's get you together. But if you can't, then guess what? You left to dance and make it up all along the way, right? It just ain't going to happen. And you want to keep dancing to a tune that you may not prefer to be dancing to. Hey, we're going to come back, talk a little bit more about that networking, and then move down through tips 4 through 8. We're talking about how to successfully launch your career today here on the Unleashed Radio Hour.
If your car's no longer covered by a manufacturer's warranty, repairing it can break the bank. Rebuild, replace transmission, $3,200. Anti-lock brake system, $1,000. Rebuild, replace engine, $2,400. Truth is, once your warranty runs out, it's all on you. Every last cent. A vehicle service contract just makes sense. And a vehicle service contract from Toco Warranty makes the most sense. Many other companies hit you with a large down payment. With Toco, there's no down payment. And with Toco, you can pay as you go with affordable payments. Don't waste another minute. Pick up the phone and call Toco right now to start saving big money on expensive covered auto repairs. Prices vary by vehicle. The monthly price for most plans, about the cost of a tank of gas per month. Get your free quote now. Call Toco at 800-269-3100. That's 800-269-3100. 800-269-3100. Cancellation fee may apply. Subject to eligibility. Not available in Missouri and Washington. Waiting period and deductible apply. Coverage provided and administered by Warrantech Corporation or its affiliates. Not affiliated with any manufacturer or dealership. Visit TocoWarranty.com for complete terms and conditions.
This is Business 1110.
Yeah, we push you through this holiday here on the Unleashed Radio Hour. I'm your host, Ron Klinger. Glad to be back with you. We're rocking, we're rolling, we're dialed in here now. Look, today we're talking about how to successfully launch your career. Now, this could be for anyone who is just recently graduated from high school that says, you know what, I'm going to do that 4-letter word before I do other words, which is work. We're going to push it. We're going to work. Or that recent or soon-to-be college graduate. Or heaven forbid, guess what? These tips also apply to someone who is in career transition. And be like, you know what, I'm tired of getting up and making the donuts. I want to do something differently with my life. I want to change the pace. You know what? Because the reality is, and the research out there shows, that the average American changes jobs 7 different times. 7. We do different things. We lose interest with something else is engaging. Oh, and guess what? The job market and the needs, they're ever evolving, ever changing. So that's critical that you understand that. And so these tips also apply. So the tip number 1 that we gave was know thyself, values, interest, personality, strength. Tip number 2, you better define your career aspirations. What, if you're going to paint a portrait, I hate to do this, but think of Match.com or any other dating site, right? You've got to define the characteristics or the specifics of the profile match. Well, it's no different in a career decision. What's the work? What's the career? What's the company? What are all those things? The more you define it, the more it becomes tangible. You can actually reach out and touch it. So that's why you got to define your career aspirations. You got to define it so you can measure it, so you can manage it. Am I on the right path or not? And then the other one was network. No, we're not talking about routers and cables. We're actually talking about connecting with other people. When we went to the break, it's about who you know, not about what you know, right? So when you network, people are probably going to be willing to help you. These are your friends, your family members, people that go to your church, people involved in your community, people that you may have gone to school with. And they're going to ask you when you're looking for a career, well, I'm out looking for work, I'm doing this. What, the first question they're going to ask you is, what kind of work or what kind of job are you looking for? And if you can't give them anything of substance to go off of, they can't help you. So you got to help yourself. You've got to know thyself, define what you're looking for, get involved in network out there from your professional organizations and associations. You know, if you're in an area or a domain, they exist. Find it. Network. Get to know the people in your field. Are there volunteer opportunities where if you're out looking, like, I'm not really sure what I want to do, the worst thing you can do is sit at home, play on your Xbox or your PlayStation. That is the worst thing you can do. Don't sit there as a couch potato on your console gaming system and think that leveling up, which I'm going to get to in a little bit, is going to get you a job, because it's not. And there aren't many professional gamers out there, so you got to get off the couch, you got to move. Get out and volunteer. Find opportunities to plug in. Do what you need to do to maximize your career, because you are in the driver's seat. And then the other thing that you can do is get involved in other community organizations like the local Chamber of Commerce, any business development, any type of thing where again, I go back to values in your interest, anything that piques that interest to learn more. It's going to be amazing what you find when you get in that domain and you pursue a career where your interests, your values, and your personality and strengths are aligned, or as I put it here, the VIPs, values, interests, personality, and strengths. All right, we're going to come back here now. We'll move down from tip 3. We're going to roll into tip number 4 with Miss Taylor. Tip number 4?
Engage the best of you.
Yeah, engage the best of you. So you better bring it. And when you can bring it and you can bring the best of you, that's being fully present in it. You know, there's this term out there called presenteeism. It's called presenteeism. And I use the word engage for a reason, because Gallup tracks the level of employee engagement every month. Gallup tracks the level of employee engagement every single month. How engaged are employees in the work you're doing? Has to do with the presenteeism. How hard are they working when they show up? Are they accomplishing the goals of their job? You know, and I think the biggest key that's in there is you need to seek out opportunities where you can engage the best of you, and the best of you has permission to show up every single day. You know, and that is the responsibility of managers and leaders to help facilitate. But they can't help you if you don't define it. And the reason I want to do this and put this in here is there's a great quote that applies every bit here from Alice in Wonderland. You're thinking, what does that have to do with careers? Well, there is a specific time in the storyline when Alice is down in the hole. She finds the Cheshire Cat sitting up in the tree. She looks up to the cat and says, could you please tell me which way I ought to go from here? And the cat says, well, that depends entirely, dear, on where you'd like to go. Well, Alice responds, doesn't matter where I go. Well, then the cat says, well, then it doesn't matter which way you go. You see, the point is you've got to get definition. You need a roadmap. And that roadmap, hey, it can have detours. It can have other exits along the path, other sights to see. But you have to have a map. You have to have some direction. Engaging the best of you should be a critical mass for what you want to accomplish and achieve. How can you seek and find work where not only do you feel comfortable and confident in the best of you showing up, you're permitted to do so in the work that you do? All right, Miss Audra, tip number 5.
Be patient.
Yeah, here's a big one, and I say this, and I usually don't come out swinging with generations, but here's what I do have to say. Those of the younger generation entering the workforce, you need to be patient. This is, and I talked about this just a little while ago, this is not about leveling up. This is not a checklist or a checkbox out on any of the games like Call of Duty or Gears of War or anything of that nature where, hey, guess what? I did 1, 2, and 3. Check, check, check. I level up. I get more power. I get more cool things. No, that does not equate to the work world. That gamification of your career, stop it and stop it now. Understand that you have to get some experience, that you have to learn how to do certain things, and sometimes that requires an all-powerful 4-letter word called time. And sometimes it's going to take you a year, 2 years, 3 years, 5 years to truly master the ability to do something, to think in a particular way, to lead and engage others. And that comes in direct conflict. Absolute direct conflict with what a lot of younger folks have been taught their entire lives. You can be whatever you want to be if you just try. And the way that we've wired our world towards instant gratification, right? And it's not a template that in life translates to career. It just doesn't work. It just does not. And if you're frustrated 6 months in and you don't have the corner office, you don't have the company car allowance, you don't have the VP role, you're not sitting in a 6-figure salary, then understand, ask people, what does it take to get there? Manage those expectations. You have to be patient. And I'm not saying being patient in the essence of, oh, it'll never happen. I'm saying temper the expectation that it's not going to happen tomorrow just because you want it to. Career development takes time. Your ability to demonstrate certain tasks, certain responsibilities, that doesn't just happen overnight. It takes practice, and that takes time. So that's tip number 5. Miss Taylor, tip number 6.
Experience matters.
Can I get an amen? Amen. Experience matters. Go out to any job board, Indeed.com, although not my preferred. You can go out to CareerBuilder.com, Monster.com, whatever the case might be. And guess what? Guess what? They're going to put a level of experience that you are going to have in order to get the job. Right? You can't come in here and manage my board on the other side of here if you don't have any experience. You've never learned how to do it. Oh, I'm just going to push these buttons and hope that something works. It doesn't work like that. Novel concept, right, Mike? Novel concept. Not anybody can sit in a chair and come in and say, I want this button here. I'm going to do this one there. We're going to push this one here. And it's just we're going to make magic. It's going to happen because I just think I can. No. You've got to gain experience. And when I say gain experience, again, let me go back to the top of my list. First, you must know thyself. What is important to you in the work that you do? The interests, your personality, your strengths. Have you defined the career that you're trying to pursue or go after? And if you haven't, then you're searching in a scavenger hunt with no list. You don't know what you're even going to go and find. It doesn't work. So when we start talking about experience matters, and here's where, I got to pause. I got to escape to a happy place. Here's where I did a show several weeks ago on flipping the conversation. And the reason I called it flipping the conversation is we've talked so much for the last 15, 20 years, ladies and gentlemen, that the proper path and trajectory into adulthood was graduate from high school, go to college, and get a job. And I'm here to tell you that is not the only path and trajectory. And not only I'm here not to tell you that that's not what it is, that doesn't help young people because guess what? Nowhere in that transgression of going from high school, 16, 17, 18, or whatever, heck, we had a 14-year-old graduate from TCU here recently. Youngest ever graduate from TCU. Okay, that's great. That's one in a gazillion billion that are out there. Most of us out there need to gain relative life experience. And nowhere in that progression, graduate from high school, go to college, get a job, have we taught for the last 10 to 15 years anything. And this is where I get a little cantankerous. We haven't taught anybody anything truly about saying in there you need to gain experience. The classic story that I continue to tell is with a time when I had 2 months ago, I was in Austin. Had a dinner with our state representatives, and earlier in the day we had a presentation by other representatives and other important people in this Texas state legislature. Said, oh, hey, I hear you guys are going out to dinner tonight. Oh, yeah, we're going out as a group. We're going to have some fun. Hey, well, welcome to Austin, the capital of the highest educated service industry in America. Why? Here's why. Maybe some people don't want to leave Austin, but here's the other reason why. People have to take jobs because they got bills to pay. Because guess what? They may have a degree, but there isn't any relevant, applicable experience in that area that says I can go and do, so I have to take a job, exchange my time for money to work. I'm not saying right. I'm not saying wrong. I'm saying it is. And I hold nothing against folks where they're trying to do the best that they can with what they can, when they can, and where they can. The problem is I have to preach it and I have to teach it from a mountain high. You've got to get relevant experience because the job market, it demands it, even on entry-level positions. You have to have some experience, some. And if you got none, it's really, 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 really hard to be employed, right? And I think that's critical. So that experience matters. Golly gee whiz. That's why I say volunteer if you can while you're in high school, while you're going through college. Take on internships, take on co-ops, take on part-time jobs. Do anything that can get you experience of managing tasks, doing duties, working with others, completing goals, assignments, tasks where your performance is measured. I don't care. And whatever you do, be the best at whatever it is you're going to do to gain that experience because in that experience, not only comes what you're doing, but the references, the support. Because, oh, guess what? When you do have that job, hey, can you please list 3 to 5 professional references or work references? You need those as well. If you've never worked, please, for the love of all things professional, do not list mom and dad as your references. Can I get a no to the N to the O? No. Thank you. We can't do it. It's not going to work. Hey, I got 2 more tips to share with you. I got 2 more. Dos más. When you come back, we'll talk about those tips. We'll talk about our Be Positive segment of the day. You're dialed in. This is the experience known as the Unleashed Radio Hour.
The following update is for drivers who pay too much for car insurance due to DUIs, DWIs, tickets, or anything else. By now, you know all too well that SR22 auto insurance is way more than you'd ever want to pay. You probably thought you didn't have a choice, but you were wrong. Our company specializes in low-cost, very affordable SR22 auto insurance for high-risk drivers. We know that mistakes happen, so take pride in being able to offer absolutely free quotes for this very affordable auto insurance meant specifically for you, the overpaying high-risk driver. We're standing by at 800-749-2984. The only thing you need to do is stop waiting around while your monthly payments stay as high as they are. Our knowledgeable representatives are ready for your call at 800-749-2984. The quote is free, and we'll even handle the filings so you could start saving money every month even sooner. Call 800-749-2984. That's 800-749-2984. Once more, 800-749-2984.
Attention managers, business owners, and human resources professionals. Do you struggle with positively engaging and developing your team? Hi, this is Ron Klinger, host of the Unleashed Radio Hour. For over a decade, I have been coaching and helping leaders just like you. From management and leadership training to individual coaching and support, I can help you address the everyday challenges you face in your business or organization. If you're looking for a partner to your success, call the man who can help you with your plan. You can reach me online at motivationaltransitions.com or by phone at 832-746-9760.
This is Business 1110.
Yeah, we turning it down here on the Unleashed Radio Hour. Yeah, that just gets you moving, gets you grooving, gets you shaking, gets you baking. Bacon on a good juicy cheeseburger sounds really good right about now. Oh, we got an amen coming in there. All right. Woo. Hey, you can say that one was too legit to quit. Hey, we're rocking and rolling today, ladies and gentlemen, sharing tips on how you can successfully launch your career. And again, I bring this back. The target of the focus today's discussion is on high school and college graduates or soon to be. But again, these tips are universal. They can apply to folks who are in career transition, folks that want more from the work that they're doing. All of this matters. If you want to learn more, you'd like to sit down, you'd like to have someone walk you through that process, by all means, that's what I'm here to do. Go out to motivationaltransitions.com. Again, motivationaltransitions.com, and contact me. We can help more. Reach out via unleashedradiohour.com as well. Now, this is our typical point where we give our Be Positive segment, but what I want to do is I want to dial that in here and to getting to tip number 7 and 8. And we're going to push that Be Positive segment towards the very end and use it as a wrap for the show. But I want to go to tip number 7 here from my special assistant, Miss Audra.
Engage in career. Discuss with leadership.
All right, so let's put that all together. Engaging in career discussions with your leadership, right? She's giving me that sad face, right? Engage in career discussions with leadership. Here's the point of that tip. If you don't own it, and that goes in concert with the tip that we talked about today from the article out of the Unspoken Rules of the Workplace from Fast Company, and again, that article is linked out on the promo for today's show, you've got to drive your career development. All right, it's that plain and simple. If you're going to sit back and wait for someone to consistently, nonstop drive your career, you've got to own your career. You've got to say, hey, where do I fit in? Where might things be going down the road? How can I engage more in what I'm doing? How can I take care of my career? Where do I fit here? You need to define and start having those conversations with your leadership management team, with your direct supervisor. You need to know what opportunities are that exist within the organization. And maybe you're in a flat organization. Maybe that organization is so flat where you can't progress up. You need to progress out so you get good and master whatever the tasks are that it is that you want to do. And that's tip number 7. So real quick, tip 1, know thyself. 2, define your career aspirations. 3, network. Number 4, engage the best of you. Number 5, be patient. Number 6, experience does matter. And then tip number 7, engage in career discussions with your leadership team. We'll do tip 8 and our Be Positive in our final segment when we come back right after these messages.
Are you nearing eligibility for Medicare benefits? Then you know now is an important time in your life. Medicare benefits can be a complicated puzzle. You don't want to overpay for your Medicare coverage or get the wrong plan. Let Health Markets Insurance Agency help you. With one free phone call, a licensed insurance agent will help you select a Medicare plan that's right for you and your budget. If you're becoming eligible for Medicare, call today and learn how to get the most out of your benefits.
800-779-0961. 800-779-0961.
Health Markets Insurance Agency is the DBA or assumed name of InSphere Insurance Solutions, Inc., which is an authorized insurance agency in all 50 states and the District of Columbia. Not all agents are licensed to sell all products. Service and product availability varies by state.
Call 800-779-0961. 800-779-0961. 800-779-0961. 800-779-0961.
This is Business 1110.
All right, if that doesn't kickstart you hot, I don't know what does. Speaking about kickstarting your heart, guess what? Hopefully your career kickstarts your heart every day you get out of bed, your feet hit the ground, you wake up each day saying, you know what, and this is my mission, my vision, my hope for everyone that listens into this show, that you wake up each day saying, I can't believe, they're actually going to put money in my bank account for me to go do what I'm doing today. They're actually going to pay me. This ain't work, this is fun. All right, which is going to lead me into our last tip. Tip number 8, Miss Taylor, you get to close out the tips for today. Let's bring it.
Stay informed.
So what does that mean? That means dialing in, being in your profession. That means, hey, what are those things that continue as you learn and you go and you have more experience that drives the filter for your career? Get tapped into your professional organizations. Understand the dynamic opportunities that exist. Whether it's, and guess what? Sometimes a horizontal move in the job market will get you the vertical move you're looking for. Sometimes it is a step back to go forward. You don't know. That's why you need to stay informed. Job boards always stay connected to what experiences they're looking for. Certifications, specific experiences, whatever those needs may be, so that you're always polishing your craft, so that you're always sharpening your tools, so that when the next opportunity comes around, it is yours for the taking. So look, I said we're going to push that Be Positive. First thing I want to do is I want to give thanks, give props, little round of applause to my assistants here today, right, for dialing it in. Yeah. Can I get an amen? Amen. Yeah, hey, they got it in there, right? So that Be Positive quote for the day on careers, and I'm going to post this out on Facebook. Just follow along, go out, search Unleashed Radio Hour on Facebook. And it's a great quote by Mark Twain, and it's one that I think really, truly can resonate with today's discussion that I want to share with you. There are 2 days in your life that matter the most. The day that you find out what you're going to do, and the day you find out why. And I think that's critical. That's what we've been talking about here today on the Unleashed Radio Hour. The 2 most important days in your life are the day that you are born, and the day you find out why, right? And so I'm going to put that out there. I think that's critical. I think it's absolutely essential, and it ties into that staying informed. Because if the first tip was know thyself, second one, define your career aspirations, third, network. 4, engage the best of you. 5, be patient. 6, gain that experience because experience matters. 7, engage in career discussions with your leadership team, your management. And 8, stay informed. Then it's a cycle that goes all the way back to know thyself, define your career. You can change. You're in the driver's seat. That is the joy about this. No blame, no shame. It's all about what game you bring to the table every day in your career, and in this case, also your business. Ladies and gentlemen, it has been an absolute pleasure, as always, to join you here on the airwaves on this Memorial Day. Look, I want you to be patient. I want you to pause. I want you to be able to reflect on the gifts and the blessings that you do have today. I want you to thank and remember and lift up in prayer those who gave their lives for the freedoms that we experience every single day. Hey, but I also want to make sure that you come back and join us next week when we learn more about some of Houston's best and brightest companies to work for. We're going to dial in some very specific needs as to the way employers are taking care of their employees. And until next week, ladies and gentlemen, I thank you for listening in. Ron Klinger signing off, loud and proud. Until next week, see ya!